guys, it's Caleb with White Metal Games here. It is Sunday the 4th of November, so happy daylight savings time. If you guys are keeping up, you've gained an hour tonight, so enjoy that extra hours of sleep. I want to give you a quick studio update, show what we've been working on around the studio, so let's just get right to it. This week was really busy with catching up with some of the armies we just sold. As I mentioned a couple times before, we sold a couple armies, so we've been continuing to work on those. And with I've had a little downtime because assembly on those finished, so I had some time to catch up on some stuff around here. So what I started on was a personal army that I'm building as a studio army, which is also a Chaos army, but it's a Chaos Necron ally list. So why don't we start off with easy stuff first. Let's go to the photo booth. So we've seen some of this before, but not painted. Here is the Chaos Space Marine Demon Prince we did for our client. He wanted a Tzeentchian themed prince, so I asked him if it would be okay. We went full-on Vulture and did Vulture head and wings and the whole 9 yards, and he was cool with it, so this is what we came up with. So it's a lot of Cockatrice bits mingled in there with Tomb King's bits, Demon Prince bits, miscellaneous bits. He is sort of floating and hovering above this thing, and we did that by attaching him to this old Forge World Tyrannid tail, which I don't have anymore, so I can't do that again, but it was nice that I had one of those in stock. And I think he came out really well. He's got these big sort of wrist punch cutter weapons for weapons, and I think it looks really sharp, and he's got these beautiful feathered wings that are cast in resin. So this guy is a combination of a bunch of different bits. The client wanted this Mars-style red earth basing. It's a little hard to see because of the camera, but hopefully this picks up enough detail. We also have several squads of models for the client. We have several rhinos. Let's put one of these up here. We've got a few more coming, but these are the first of the Thousand Suns rhinos. So here they are. Now that's not glued on yet. We haven't glued it on for the simple purpose of we wanted to paint it separately. So this is what we came up with. There's an icon on the side here that comes from the Eldar range that works really well for Egyptian-themed stuff. And we've got these Thousand Suns icons, or not Thousand Suns, these Egyptian Tomb Kings icons, which I like to mix up with Thousand Suns. And then we have this special gunner to further complete the transition of the model. I think it pops really well. There it is from the back. Got 3 of those. And then we have a squad of Havocs. Now, the client requested missile launchers, but getting 3 of the Havoc resin fine cast missile launchers is a nightmare. So what I vouched for was I just decided to use the Space Marine missile launchers and just kit bash them with Chaos Space Marines. And I think it worked pretty well. You know, it's obviously a more advanced missile launcher than they normally have. But for sake of game, it's simpler, it's easier, it was easier to get a hold of. Here's their champion or their sergeant or whatever they call it in the Chaos line. I kit bashed him as well with a couple different bits, and he came out pretty good. And there's the rest of the squad. So that's those things. Let's see, this is a client that requested, totally different client, requested a magnetized flying hive tyrant. So we gave him magnets in all the joints, and we grade that up. And we also have magnets on the shoulders, and it's kind of darker there, it's kind of green, and that's because we used green stuff to sort of close in the gaps. We also came up with these plates to mount up there in case he doesn't want to do them as a flyrant. He can make them look like he's leaping. Now this client wanted a 3rd edition head, so this guy is not quite done yet. We have some more work to do, but the magnetized arms and stuff are done. And there's 4 sets of siding talons, or 4 talons, 2 sets. The wings mount up top. A little hard to do it with one hand, but let me see if I can't do it. So there that is. Worked pretty well, pretty strong, nice and firm. And then we just have the head to mount on that thing. So that's that client. If you're out there, we're almost done with your model, just waiting on the head. Picked up a old, what do you call it, Lord of Change. It's a greater demon for the Tzeentch models. This guy actually, I bought him secondhand and he was missing some parts, so I had to buy a second one. So I ended up buying 2 of these guys in order to build one, and I have parts left over that went into my Demon Prince bin, which is all this stuff that we're working on, different Demon Princes we want to put together. Demon Princes are sort of one of those fun things that I love building them, but clients don't really, there's not a huge market on eBay. The kit's so good. We are building a special Demon Prince with this. We're building another Primarch. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but He'll be coming up in the weeks to come, and he's going to be massive, so get prepared for that. So these are the parts for our special army that we're building for the studio, which will be for sale, of course. Everything eventually ends up for sale. Now, it's a Tzeentch-themed Chaos army as well, but we're going to have Necron allies with it. So we wanted to go with a lot of Egyptian themes, a lot of vulture heads, that sort of thing. So this is our Hell Talon, or at least the start of it. We took the head from the Chimera, which is this bird-like head, and it's a little hard to see right there, but there he is. So we mounted that to the front, used a few bits to seal in the gaps, and then we've got these specialty Tomb King wings. And what we're doing with those is we're going to mount those in place of the traditional wings. This guy will actually have feathered wings. It'll be like 4 feathery wings instead of 4 metallic wings. So I think that's going to blend really well. So we're waiting on the rest of the bits to come in to finish that out. It's going to look like a giant hawk or vulture by the time he's done. And then for the rest of the models, we've got a bunch of different... this whole army is sort of custom made. Let's drag it over into the light if I can. See what we got here. So this is what we're using for our Mauler Fiend. We're using the actual Necrosphinx model. We gave it wings just for giggles because the Mauler Fiend moves like a beast, so we thought maybe this thing could leap or sort of flutter around the field. We didn't modify at all. We just liked the basic model. We added a couple scarabs to cover up where the other bits would go. And we added the wings to the back, so it makes it unique. So I like that figure a lot. We're going to use that as our Mauler Fiend. We came up with this custom Disc of Tzeentch, using a ton of Necron bits and some other miscellaneous bits. So it looks like sort of a hovering platform. And there's one of our sorcerers, and we've got this weird familiar here, if you can take a close look at him. It's hard to see. But he's sort of like a screamer, in that he's like a ray. Not a ray, what do you call those guys? Can't think what they're called right now. Stingray, that's what it is. And we modeled him up with a couple extra bits. So he's the familiar. He's on a 20mm base, 20mm round. So those guys will mount, and then that actually is a flying base. It mounts with this rod, so that will look sharp when it's done. Came up with these for our Chosen. These are Tzeentch Chosen models, and they are a kit bash from a dozen bunches of different stuff. They've got some very elite Space Marine bits, these elaborate bolters and backpacks. We've got these really nice heads we've been collecting from champions from all those Chaos Space Marines we've been converting. Some Grey Knight halberds, and these guys came out really well. I like to look at them a lot. There's 10 of them, and there's a champion with them as well. We're counting the halberds as either force axes, or not force axes, power axes or power swords, depending on what we feel like. We also took a unit of warp talons. Now with these guys we didn't convert at all. We just simply used them right out of the box. I did consider using some sort of vulture head, but I couldn't find a vulture head for this size figure that I was pleased with, so I just decided to skimp on it. Because it's a Necron allied list, we're going to have a ton of Necrons too. So these are our Pyrian Immortals, which are a bigger, badder Immortal. So what we did is we took the guns from the basic Necron Immortals and added them to these Chosen Reborn from the Sokar line from Reaper. So it looks like a much bigger guy. In fact, we mounted them onto a 30mm round just to show the distinct little bit of difference. They're just a little bit bigger. There's 4 of those. 5 are going to be in the works. We've got Ariamon in here, who is not currently being produced by GW, so we had to get him secondhand on eBay and clean him up and strip him down. So there's a little trace of blue left. Mounted him to this really nice resin base from Dragonforge. We've also got Anrek here, the Traveler. He's going to be one of our special characters. And he's actually going to be mounted to a specialty command barge. So that will be coming. We're going to convert that up. Here is one of our generic Necron Lords. This was just the regular Lord that was left over from the Necrosphinx. So we just took him and added a Necron head to it. And that's all we did. We just made it nice and simple and clean. Nothing fancy. It just works. I may throw a couple Necron bits on there for giggles, but overall I like the look. I think the Egyptian look works better. We also picked up some really old Tomb Guard, and I'm not for sure what we're going to count these guys as yet. I'm thinking about counting them as demons and counting them as plague bearers. But the problem is you can't ally 3 ways. You can't take Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Demons, and Necrons in one list unless it's a second detachment, and even then I don't think you can. So what this army will be is mutable. You'll have some options for when you want to play Necrons Chaos and some options for when you want to play Chaos Demons. So the Grand Army will be somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 points of models probably in the 3,000 point range. but it'll have allies that you'll be able to swap in and out depending on what you want to play. So it'll be very mutable. It's obviously a highly customized army, but we think it's going to be generic enough that people are going to really like to play it. And then finally, right now we've got these Possessed. Let's see if I can't get them in the camera. So the Possessed are really just a kit bash of a bunch of different stuff. It's basic Possessed models, and we added some Blood Angel Sanguinary bits. We really liked these heads because we think these heads are really Egyptian sort of feeling. And then we had these old backpacks that we used. So my idea for the Possessed were kind of that they were basic Possessed models, but they had to cover up their mutations. They have these masks to sort of cover up their embarrassment or defilement. So they are traditional Tzeentchian mutants, but they've also got these nice Egyptian masks on there, or these Egyptian-themed masks, which I like from the Blood Angels line. One of the ththings about the Tzeentch army, which I think is underrated a lot, is that the mark gives you a +1 on any invulnerable save you take. So our idea with the list was to take as many models from the Chaos army that had invulnerable saves as we could. So Warp Talons were a good one because they count as demons. Possessed were another good one, and Chaos Terminators, we're going to take those too. So at the end of the day, almost every model on the Chaos side of this list will have an invulnerable save, and many of them will have an improved invulnerable. The Possessed and Warp Talons will have a 4-up, and the Terminators will have a 2-up, 4-up as well, 2-up armor, 4-up in bold. And the basic, of course, the basic Rubric Marines will have a 4+ as well. So the invulnerable saves, I think, are really going to make this army work. And then we're going to couple that with Necron firepower, and I think it's going to be a really decent list. What it's going to lack is hand-to-hand. It's not going to have much for hand-to-hand. Now, we have a few things to make that up. The Mauler Fiend, of course. We've also got a couple units that are still being worked on. This is going to be our Demon Prince. I can't bring him into the light. So it's the upper body from the Necro Sphinx, or the War Sphinx. I always get them confused. And the lower body from the Chimera, which we used various parts of for other conversions. So he's going to be tall. He's going to really tower above his enemies. And we've actually got to get a specialty base because he's going to be so heavy. We've got to weight that crap out of this guy, otherwise he's just going to fall down. But we're really pleased with how he's shaping up. All we've done so far is filled gaps. We're going to mount some wings to him, too. So he'll be a winged Demon Prince. We've also got, we're going to do a Necron Shard, so look for that to be coming up. And we've got some extra bits in here we're thinking about using. We're thinking about using this to make a Palanquin, which is a Nurgle Lord's transport. So we may do that. Now I know animosity-wise, Nurgle and Tzeentch don't get along, but in the new 6th edition rules, there's really no huge disadvantage to animosity. It's just they hate the other type of demon. So in your own list, ally-wise, there's really not a problem. If you want to take Tzeentch and Nurgle on the same list, it's really not a big deal. You just do it. And I think Nurgle fits this list in the terms of the demons because it's stuff like plagues and stuff that you would think mummies would do. Like mummy rot could be ascribed to the same thing as a Nurgle rot, or a poisoned weapon. It could be like a cursed weapon instead. So I like it. I think it works with the desert theme. This is what we're going to do for our Forge Fiend. So we took this spare crab droid we had from the Star Wars line and added this giant scorpion tail to it, which was very hard to track down in bits. People love that thing. And we have these spare cannons somewhere. They're the Reaper. There's a new name for these. I forget what they're called. They're from the Forge Fiend kit. Hades autocannons or something like that. There's 2 of these. So he's going to be a real Scorponok by the time he's done. He's going to have these 2 guns on the front, the legs, and then that thing. We're going to throw some Necron bits on there, or some Egyptian-themed bits to complete him, and then he'll mount to a large oval, like either like this, or he actually works like this too, so we'll probably do him that way. But he's going to be real sharp. I'm really pleased with him. He's a real simple conversion. We've just had the extra bits, and we decided to go with it. So, as far as the actual Necrons go, I haven't shown you much of them yet. We've got these guys, which were the guards on the War Sphinx kit, and we were converting them up into, what do you call them, Cryptex. So we've mounted the head from the traditional Deathmark kit there. We've given him a special staff. We're going to do some more modifications to him. So he'll look like a mummy guard. We've got 4 of those. And we've also got a bunch of different stuff we have to clip up this week. We've got a Ghost Arc. We've got a Triarch Stalker. We've also got these Tomb Blades. So we're going to work on those. And what else do we got? We're going to do some Tomb Blades. Those are those are wraiths, but we're going to do some Tomb Blades too. And we've got 4 squads of warriors plus the immortals, so it's going to end up being about a 50-50 mix. So it's going to be a deluxe list, and our personal painter, Will Shuck, is going to do it, our resident painter. Now, the painting on this isn't going to be for a while. It's going to take a little bit, but what we might do is post the army unpainted and say we will paint the army to your color scheme of choice. But what we're hoping a client will like is a green list. We're wanting to do a green-gold list because we think that'll really work with the Necrons. We think it'll really pop. But that being said, if we sell it, then the client will have the option to paint it any way they want. So that's it for this week. As you can see, we've just been busy, and we're looking to get more. If you are interested in commissioning with us, just contact me at calebfilm@yahoo.com. For those who have kept up with our Army specials, you may have noticed recently that we did drop our Army specials off of eBay. The reason we did that was because we had so much success with the first couple armies that our painter is having trouble getting caught up. So we are trying to get caught up on those, and then we're going to relist a few of those and try to get another army under our belts. The other thing is, if you're viewing this in the Raleigh Triangle area, and by Raleigh Triangle I mean Raleigh, Cary, Knightdale, Garner, those general cities, and you are a painter, we are looking to expand, so we're looking to hire a few more commissioned painters. If you're interested, email me at calebfilm@yahoo.com. We pay a very reasonable rate for what we're calling an exalted tabletop standard, so it's a tabletop standard, but a little bit nicer. The quality of the work is basically what you see here. This is the quality of the work we're looking to duplicate. We're not looking to match painters. We're looking for unique painters, but we're looking to match general styles, not styles like this exactly, but more that we're looking to bang out a tabletop style and sort of perfect that as our style right now. Eventually we'll move to a nicer style, but for now we want to do a lot of volume. So if you're a painter in the Raleigh area who has anywhere between 10 to 40 hours a week, you're looking for work, you already have your own conversion business or your own modeling business or painting business, and you want to expand on your clientele base, we have over 5,000 unique clients that we've serviced over the last 5 or 6 years. We campaign to them on a semi-regular basis. We advertise, and we are looking to expand. We have more projects we want to do, and we need more painters to do it. Also, if you're a web designer and you are also in this area, we're looking for a web designer to help us with our site. We have a web designer on staff, but due to time constraints, he's busier than he would like to be, and we just have not gotten as far on the site as we would like to. One of our goals this year was to launch our site, and it hasn't happened yet. We're only 2 months away from the end of the year. So we're looking to partner with someone in the area, and we're finally willing to pay, but we need someone who's local, someone we can work with on a regular basis, someone who is positively enthusiastic about miniatures and the hobby. So if you're looking to get involved with a young miniatures company that's trying to get out there, we're trying to build a studio. We have the basics that we need. We have some staff, we have supplies, and we have ambition, and we have experience. We've done projects for, like I said, over 5,000 clients now. We've built up a large client base, and we're looking to grow that even more. But what we need right now more than anything are painters, and we also need web designers. So if you're interested in that and you live in this area and you can meet with me on a regular or semi-regular basis once a week or so, then I would be happy to talk to you. If you are a painter and you want to get involved, there is an application process. What we do is we have you submit your pictures to us, or if you don't have pictures, then we will have you bring in some of your sample work. And then there is a brief painting test, so to speak, where we're basically going to hand you a few miniatures and give you the night to work on them, or a few hours to work on them here in the studio. And then based on how you feel about it, we'll talk about it, and we'll see where we can best fit you. If you're not a terribly fast painter, or you are an amazingly talented painter, we can work that in too. We certainly are willing to do some masterclass listings for those of you who are Golden Demon style painters. Or for those of you who paint a little slower, you're paid by the job here, not by the hour. So if you paint at your own pace, that's fine. You just will be paid at your own pace. So just contact me if you're interested at all. I'd love to talk to you about it. Again, my name is Caleb, and I'm the owner and sole proprietor of White Metal Games, and we are looking to expand. So if you like our work, you'd like to get involved, and you live in the Raleigh Triangle area, especially around Raleigh, Cary, Knightdale, Garner, because those are all the cities that are closest to me, then great. If you live in Durham, we could maybe make it work, but Durham's a haul. It's probably not going to work out. So the burden would be on you to carry out the driving, because I have other responsibilities and I can't be going back and forth between Durham all week. So, but if you're in this immediate area, contact me. calebfilm@yahoo.com, And until next week, put your minis where your mouth is. Happy wargaming. Be sure to check out our new listings at our web page. I'll put you a link to our eBay page. And look for more models from us later this week. So thanks. Have a good one. Bye-bye.